Lyceans, this is Elizabeth Nsubuga from the College of Engineering, Computer Studies and Architecture, just sharing. Transitioning from virtual to physical classroom instruction was a breeze for me because during the pandemic, I designed a lesson plan that was universal to both platforms, with the significant difference being my physical proximity to the students. This is how I did it. MS Teams. Thank you very much, LPU Cavite. I spend about 2/3 of my class time in MS Teams. I start by enrolling the students assigned to me for the semester and then create teams for each class section. As you can see, I have around 5 teams here. I create an exclusive team for consultation where I conduct a one-on-one audio chat with a student. As you can see, it's one-on-one, though sometimes it's a group, especially if it is thesis consultation. I require my students to present their concerns privately here at any time, any day. As you can see, they can consult me here. I'm not going to show the conversations for data privacy. And I post announcements here through a group chat of 5 representatives that were selected at the beginning of the first class meeting. For instance, we have Engineering 103 and our representatives, 5 of them, and my conversation with them. Moodle. Thank you very much, LPU Cavite, for this platform. I upload all our class materials in Moodle. For instance, so we have here the prelim topics and the class material, literature. Then we have the midterm period topics here, and then the class material, and finally the final period topics and the class material. 95% of our class assessments are performed here in Moodle. As you can see, we have the assessments for prelim, assessments for midterms, and lastly, assessments for finals. Let's look at one, what is inside here. Okay, the topic is introduced and the assessment and instructions to the students. My daily agenda. For every class meeting, I create an outline of whatever I plan to happen in the class for the day and present it at the beginning of each class. For instance, we have our agenda here on March 9. Right? So you can see the outline is presented and we follow it verbatim. And so on. My my class record. I create my class record in Microsoft Excel with the following parts. So there is my class record. So we have the class list, the name of the students in alphabetical order. Of course, I change the names for data privacy. And then next, we see the attendance each day and what is going to happen. And then we have the assessments scores recorded until the exam, and then the comment at the end of the semester. I strive to have an assessment at the end of each topic for the day that would be performed during the next class period. I give a maximum of 6 or a minimum of 2 graded assessments that I term quizzes and seat work. As you can see, we have in this instance 2 seat works and 2 quizzes. The difference is that seat work is performed in a group of a maximum of 5 students, whereas quizzes are individual assessments. One significant objective of group assessment is to give academically challenged students an opportunity to upgrade their scores. We all know that students, when they are put in groups to do any activity, some of them do not participate. Sometimes we find it's only one person who will do, but it's still a good practice because there are some students, even if they try, they don't get it. So this is one way to give them an opportunity to benefit from the high score of group activities. So I still do it. During the pandemic, I introduced a no formal period exam strategy where I get the average percentage score of all my students' assessments as the equivalent exam score. And this is how I compute the period grade. For instance, I give an example here because I'm not doing that anymore. We have the equivalent period exam score. This would be presumably their period grade, exam score. And how was this computed? It was gotten from the sum and the average percentage of this assessment. How do I compute the period grade? I get 60% of 40% of this equivalent score, and then I'll get 60% of these 4 assessments as the class record, and that will give me the period grade for the students. I practiced this strategy until last prelim period, academic year 22-23, when due to some student concerns, I was advised to start giving formal period exams. But I still believe it is a worthy practice that mandates serious consideration. As you can see, if I compare the equivalent period exam score and the actual score from the formal exam, my students were benefiting a lot. They benefited a lot from that. You can see here it's almost 40% failed, whereas here it's like only 5% failed the exam. Well, so that is how I did it. So thank you. Please be safe.